Hey y'all, so today I'll be showing how you can make this strawberry themed snow globe. I am starting with this 12-ounce snow globe from Sweary Kim, and I'll have that link below. This also comes with 2 plugs, which comes in handy just in case if you drop one like I did in my last tutorial. We are also using Girl from Adhesive Apothecary along with some regular solution. You can use any solutions on the website. I think I have suspended, and I'm going to mix that with Girl a little bit. I would say mix it in equal parts just so that you can have it more flowy but also have that pink color still, and that's how it turned out. I also did this in my last tutorial, but you want to go ahead and fill it up after you have it mixed together. And you can fill your snow globe up however full that you want. I filled it about, I would say like 75%. I left a little bit of a gap, and then after you have it filled up as much as you want, you can go ahead and plug it. So that's the first step. That's how it turned out. But before you go any further, make sure that you like and subscribe. More to come. So we're going to be using these vinyl sheets today. All of these designs are from Scarlo Digital Design. I'll have a link below. You can also get vinyl prints and custom UVDTF prints at DKB Designs. I'll have a link below also. So we're going to use my Krafty cow hand turner to start applying my vinyl as usual. Then I'll have a link below also. And what I was thinking was to use a strip of the strawberries to go on a snow globe. I really love this print. I really wanted to show it. I didn't want to just put it on a layer at the bottom. So I decided to apply this one to the Tumbler, and then also the hand turner once again makes applying vinyl super easy. And then if it doesn't line up correctly, you can still cut it like that just so that everything's even, and then you can go ahead and apply the UVDTF. I will still be using the plaid vinyl. I'm thinking of using it on the lid and then also the bottom of the cup. So after we have the UVDTF applied, I'm going to take off that application sheet, and it doesn't tear anything, which is really surprising. I was kind of curious to know if it would like pull up any vinyl, but it didn't. I really thought that was amazing. But yeah, that's how everything turned out. So with the plaid vinyl, I want to use it for the lid again like I did in my previous tutorial. So you want to go ahead and take that silicone part out for the straw hole, set that aside, and go ahead and sand down your lid. I'm also going to be using this cutting tool to cut out vinyl that would go on top of the lid. So I'll have this link below too. I'm going to cut out 2 different sizes. I cut out one size that'll go on the bottom after I sew that in, and then this size obviously will go on the lid, and it fit perfectly. I didn't do any measuring. I kind of just went off of like looking, if that makes sense. But after you have it onto the lid, you can go ahead and cut around where the straw will go through. And I just used my X-Acto knife for that. You do want to be careful so that you don't cut yourself. I will say I haven't changed my blade out in a while because I tend to work better with like a duller one than a sharper one. I just don't want to cut myself. But yeah, be cautious when you do that. Make sure that you get all of the vinyl out of the holes so that you don't have anything left over that could like get wet or get sucked into a straw or anything like that. So make sure that you have all of those pieces out. We'll be sealing this later on in the video, and then the other smaller circle piece that I cut out will go on the bottom. So after I plug the bottom, I typically like add some epoxy, and then I'll put the vinyl over and then epoxy over the entire cup. But we're going to work with some clay now. So I'm using Sculpey brand clay as usual. I'm using red and green. And then for my leaves, I never sculpt leaves because I make a ton. I always just use a mold, and I'll have that link below also because Sculpey has one on the website. And then with the strawberry, I kind of make it like those dot candy shapes, if that makes sense. You want to make it that kind of shape, and then just use like a needle tool, and you want to poke dots everywhere. You need it everywhere. You can't leave gaps because it won't look right. I tried that last time, like to leave not to make so many dots, and it didn't look right. So you gotta make like dots everywhere for it to have like that strawberry textured look. So yeah, I made 2 of these, and then for the top, I was gonna make the leaves different, but I kind of like how these look better. So I made 3 of it. You always want to stick with an odd number because odd numbers are more eye-catching. And then yeah, after you have that stacked on top, I just made 3. You can bake that at 275 for 15 minutes and then let it cool down. If you are using a different brand of clay, make sure that you follow the instructions on the back. But now we're going to start with this again. I'm going to add some drips and then also apply the strawberry since they're cooled down now. So I do want to add 1 to the lid. So I'm going to pick out the spot that I want it, and then I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue and then put it on top. Again, we're going to epoxy it. So the hot glue is just a temporary thing just to keep it there. So for my drips, as usual, I use flour or cornstarch, and then I picked a red color paint, but it gave off pink more, and I wasn't too upset about it because I couldn't really decide if I wanted to use red or pink, so I just love it as it was. I love pink. I'm going to use pink obviously, so I just went ahead and make my pink drips. I always use cornstarch or flour to make my drips more thicker. It helps it stay controlled more and doesn't drip as far. So yeah, I just went around my cup and I added some drips. I'm gonna go back and add my strawberry really quick before it starts dripping any further. I also added hot glue to my strawberry so it could stay in place while my drips were drying. And then I went back over my lid and epoxy that with a paintbrush. You do want to epoxy everything a few more times just so that everything is sealed in completely, but this is how the entire thing turned out. I love the strawberry themed stuff and I love pink. I hope everyone loved this tutorial. I hope you try this out and thank you for watching.